Now, number and gender. Sight unseen. You may not even, you wouldn't have to know what the word is, but the minute you see the em ending, see what I'm saying? The minute you see that em ending, you know that the noun ends in s, or whatever the plural would be in English. Got it? Now, do you recognize the noun? Have we had this noun? Was this in lesson 1? All right. See, you can kind of figure it out because you see the consonants. Daleth, Baith, Resh. Okay? But what do you notice? If you actually memorize the spelling of the word is not divar with a schwa here. The word is davar with a comets there. In other words, the vowels of the noun have changed a little bit when we've added the ending. Now, there's a reason for that, and I'll come back to it in just a second, okay? Half the time, you can probably figure it out just by seeing the consonants and recognizing them. Oh, yeah, that's that one that means word, so the answer to the question is words, okay? But the reason I want you to give the dictionary form is if you're stuck and you don't recognize the word, you kind of have to know what to look up. Now, the vowels aren't all that important because most lexicons really run off consonants, and you can surely find a word in the lexicon just by knowing the consonants. Okay? But you should be able to figure out the actual spelling, and chances are you'll recognize it. I'm going to come back to that problem in a minute, but let's just finish drilling sort of the first step here. Do number 3. Tell me number and gender. Sight unseen about number 3. All right, it ends in em, right? So it's masculine, plural. Whatever the noun is, there's more than one of them, right? How on number 4? Feminine, plural, right? Whatever the noun is, there's more than one of them, and it's probably a feminine noun. Now, in this case, it's an irregular noun, but at least we've identified the form. Number 5. Masculine plural, right? Masculine plural. And again, can you identify the noun of number 5? See, this is irregular, and there are going to be some irregulars. That's why this isn't the first drill we're really going to do. And I'll be talking about that, okay? But you get the idea. All I wanted to show you here is that just by knowing what the endings are, okay, you can get a handle on the number and gender, and now it's simply a question of plugging in vocab to figure out what the noun is itself. Okay? Now, I want to go back to the problem we introduced here in number 2, okay? And that's the problem of divarim. Let me explain. If you're following along in the book, we've now done page 15, more or less. In fact, let me summarize what we've done so far. We can actually make a little chart, as you have in the book, of the endings. The masculine singular ending is really no ending. There's nothing there. You don't add anything, all right? But we've seen that the masculine... Why is this chart... Okay, sorry. I'm going across and then down. The masculine plural ending is em. Okay? All right? Yeah, I made my other chart backwards. This is actually better to go singular here and plural here. The feminine ends in comets hey, and the feminine plural ends in oath. The only trick here is that you got to remember when you're going from a feminine singular to a feminine plural to take the off. You replace the with the oath. There'll always be some students who, in an early exercise, see the noun susa and the direction is write the plural form. So they'll see susa and they'll go, that's a feminine noun. The plural should end in oath, so they add oath. And you get susa oath. Okay? Do you see why this is wrong? You have two endings that conflict with each other. This is the singular ending and should be removed before you add the plural ending. So the plural of susa is simply su-soth. Got it? You'll notice on the box on the bottom of page 15 that there's also in parentheses just a tau ending in the feminine singular. And it's in parentheses because this is a less common ending, but there are feminine nouns that simply end in T. And one good example of one is the noun berith. I don't think we've had it yet. It's a very common noun. Berith, a very common noun. It means covenant. And you'll see that as in B'nai Berith, maybe you've heard that as a synagogue name, B'nai Berith. That the T here is a mark for a feminine singular noun. Okay? All right, that's the basic pattern, okay? And if you know nothing else in this lesson, you must know this. But if you know this, you can probably almost fake your way through an awful lot of Hebrew. I mean, you'll gain a lot just by knowing these 4 boxes in terms of your endings, all right? You'll still be confused by an awful lot of stuff, which is why we have to go on. Now, that's why you can't settle for being a minimalist. Now, what happens to davar? Let's go.